Hey everybody, welcome to Frannie Square and to part 2 of the Fall Fireside Afghan crochet along. Okay, so in part 1 we did the jasmine stitch for the center of our Afghan. And if you didn't see that tutorial and the beginning of this Afghan, I will put a link here so you can go check that out and do that first. So for part 2, I decided I wanted a stitch that wasn't so busy because the jasmine stitch is a little on the busy side. I love it for the center, but I felt 2 really busy stitches next to each other wouldn't do the blanket justice. So I chose this lipstick red and I did what's called an aligned cobblestone stitch. And I felt that added a nice bit of texture. It's a very easy stitch and it looked nice next to my jasmine stitch. I did it on 3 sides, as I had discussed before, because I'm going for that interlocking type look. And for the next round after this, I'm going to be starting with this mustard color, and I'm going to go up the side that I don't have my second round on yet, and then 2 of the red sides. So we'll have the red going around 3 sides, and then the yellow going around 3 sides like that. Now I've been getting suggestions for stitches as well as suggestions for the configuration of the blanket, which I really love. Misty Dawn sent me the beginning of her Afghan and she decided to start with a rectangle in the center, which is a great idea if you want a rectangular Afghan. Remember, make this your own and design it the way that you like it. That's the reason I haven't given specific materials or hook size, because this project we're designing as we go. We're using our stash, or maybe you're purchasing yarn, whatever you want to do to make this your own. I do tell you the materials that I'm using in case you want to use the same ones, and I do the tutorials using the number of stitches that I'm using. But change this up, make it your own. I also got another suggestion from Cheryl Walbutton about the design of this blanket that I thought was excellent. I'm going to put a picture here of her suggestion, and that is to have a round of granny squares as one of the layers, which I think is an excellent idea because then I will combine many of the colors I'm using in the blanket in that round, and I feel like it will pull it all together. So I love getting these suggestions. Please keep them coming. My design is constantly changing, and I think this is going to be a really fun, beautiful project. One other thing I wanted to mention was that I did 12 rows of this pattern, which comes out to 6 cobblestone stitch rows because it's a 2-row repeat. And I felt that this was a nice width against the center square. Again, you can decide how wide you want to make each of your layers. All right, so I've put together the tutorial for the aligned cobblestone stitch. So grab your hook, grab your yarn, and let's get started. Okay, so we finished putting our single crochet along the edge, so we have a nice straight edge. And what we're going to do next is get ready for our next round. So I'm just going to take my stitch markers here, and ones that really contrast. I'll use these. I'm going to mark each of my corners, okay? Just makes it easier as we go forward to have a definite corner space. So I'm going to go into my corner here. Look at this. I did 3 single crochets in that corner, so the center of the 3 single crochets is going to get a stitch marker. I'm going to do that on each corner. 1, 2, 3. There's my corner for this one. Okay, let me see if I like that. Yes. All right, I'll come down here. It's nice to have your corners marked. That way, as you work, you'll know exactly where to make your corners. Otherwise, sometimes you can get confused and just start getting off by a little bit and then a little bit more, and before you know it, it's a mess. I've done that. I don't trust my eye anymore. Okay. Now, my idea for this next round is I'm going to use the lipstick red, still the Stylecraft Special DK 3-weight yarn. I like this in contrast to this. And I'm going to do 3 sides, and because we're going to go for that interlocking type look. And you'll know what I mean as we go. So for this stitch, I wanted to use something that wasn't too busy next to this stitch. So I decided to use an Aligned Cobblestone Stitch. I'm going to start right in the stitch after my corner. Okay. And the first row, it's a 2-row repeat, the Aligned Cobblestone Stitch, and you actually do the pattern on the wrong side. So if you remember how to tell, you should be on your right side right now. If you remember how to tell, when I'm looking at the front of my work, I can see both the front and back loop of the stitches if I'm on the front side. If I'm on the back side, let's just take a look at this, or the wrong side, I can only see the back loop. I can't see the full stitch, which I see on the other side. Okay, so just make sure you have your right side facing. That's where we're going to start. And I'm going to make a slip knot. There we go. And like I said, I'm going to start in the stitch right next to my corner stitch, right there. And I'm going to just attach my yarn and attach it with a chain. Then I'm going to just lay my tail across the top and go right over it since I'm doing single crochets. I'm going to do a single crochet in the same stitch and in every stitch around. And I'm also going to count how many stitches I have, because I want to have the same number of stitches on each side since I am making a square. So if I notice my stitches are off, I can increase or decrease on a side, and I'll show you how to do that. But so far I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to go across and tell you what I have at the end. Okay, so I had 50 single crochets going across to my corner. Now in my corner stitch, I'm just going to take this out a second. I'm going to do 3 single crochets. And in that second one, which will now become my new corner, I'm going to put my stitch marker back in. Just like that. All right, now, the reason that I'm figuring out the number on this round rather than the last round of single crochets is because I feel like it's easier to do once you have single crochets already there. It's easier to increase and decrease. Totally up to you. You could have done this on your first round of single crochets that matched your pattern. So I'm just going to count right now across, and I'm going to start with the one right after the corner, just like I did before, so that I get the same number of stitches. And I just want to see what I have so far and what I need to adjust. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I have 59 stitches this direction, so I have 9 extra stitches. So about every 5 stitches, I'm going to do a decrease. So I'll show you how I do that here. So I want you to see that, you know, I just did a measurement for my center square. I wasn't that accurate, obviously, and that's okay. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, in this 5th one, I'm going to decrease a stitch, and all I do to decrease is go in, pull my loop up, then go into the next stitch, pull my loop up, and pull through all 3. And what that does is it makes 1 stitch across 2 stitches here. So it decreases for the next round. So that's 1 decrease. I'm going to count my decreases and make sure I get 9. Then I'm going to go 1, 2, and I'm just spreading them out because I think it will look nicer. 3, won't be so noticeable. 4, in my 5th one, in, bring a loop up, in, bring a loop up, and go through all 3. Okay, so that's my 2nd decrease. 1, 2, 3, 4, and on my 5th one, I'm going to do my decrease, in, bring the loop up, in, bring the loop up, go through all 3. Oops, caught some yarn there. In, bring a loop up, in, bring a loop up, and come through all 3. That's 3 decreases. And my final decrease, my 9th decrease. And then I'm going to finish out with single crochets, but before I do that, I want to make sure I'm going to have the right number. So I'm just going to count one more time. Yep, that'll make 50 if I finish out here. And the reason I'm doing this is it's good to neaten it up at this point right here so that going forward it goes really smoothly, and it's not really easy to make a jasmine stitch exactly square, so we're just fixing that up. This is where my stitch marker was, so I'm going to put 3 stitches in here. Okay, and in the 2nd stitch I'm going to put my stitch marker back in to mark my corner, and then I'm going to go down and do that along 1 more side. Only 3 of the sides, not the 4th. So go do your last side and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so I have all 3 sides done. They're all 50 stitches, so they're nice and even. And now what I'm going to do, I stopped in this corner, at the bottom corner, right before the corner stitch. You can see there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 1 and turn. The 2nd row of the Aligned Cobblestone Stitch is very easy. What we're going to do is in the 1st stitch, we're going to put a single crochet. Now you're working on the wrong side. You can see I can only see the back of the stitch, not the full stitch. Okay, we do this. The pattern will actually come out on our even rows when we're on the wrong side. Okay, in our 2nd stitch, we're going to do a triple crochet. So we're going to wrap twice, go into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. I'm going to have 4 loops on my hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, then in the next stitch, I'm just going to do a single crochet again. And this is basically your cobblestone stitch. You're going to alternate. Just like that, and single crochet. So let's take a look at what this is looking like on the other side. You see, you're getting a really nice little texture there. Let me just pull my loop up. There we go. So you can see, you're getting a nice little texture there, and that's what's going to happen as you go across. Okay, so I just did the single crochet. Now I'm going to do another triple, wrap twice, go into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then a single crochet. and do that across until you get to your corner. Just alternate those 2 stitches and I'll meet you at the corner. Okay, so I'm approaching the first corner. Let's first take a look and see how this is looking. I really like the look of this. It's nice texture without being too busy. Okay, and now as I get to my corner, I just did a single crochet. I'm going to do my triple crochet and a single crochet. Then I have a triple crochet. Okay, so now I'm at my corner. Since I just did a triple crochet, I'm going to take this out. And in my corner stitch, I want 3 stitches. So I'm going to do a single, then a triple, and then a single, all in that same stitch. And then I'm going to continue around. So now this is going to be a triple, and a single, and so on. And I'm going to keep going until I get to the next corner. I'll meet you there. Okay, so I'm getting to the next corner now. I just did a triple crochet, so I'm going to do a single right here and a triple right here. Okay, and then in my corner stitch again, I'm going to take out my stitch marker and do, in this stitch, 3 stitches. I'm going to do a single, then a triple, 1, 2, 3, and then another single. And I'm going to put my stitch marker back in to the triple because that was the center stitch. That will be my corner. I meant to do that on the other corner, but I didn't do it in the video. So just make sure you have your stitch marker in the other corner as well. Okay, then I'm going to just continue alternating stitches all the way down to the end of this side, and I'll meet you there. Okay, so I'm coming to the end of the 3rd side here. I just did a triple crochet, so I'm going to do a single, and finally a triple, okay. Then what I will do is I'll chain 1 and turn. Okay, so now we're back to the right side of our fabric, and look how pretty that looks. I think that's so pretty. And what we're going to do next is go back to row 1 of our 2-row repeat. So all we do is in the first stitch, I'm going to single crochet, and in every stitch around, single crochet. Now, the one thing that you want to be careful of, when you get to your triple crochets, to see where the V is, you really have to turn it up. There's your V, and that's what you want to go under, right there. Okay, it can be a little confusing when you're looking at the front of it. You're like, where's the V? But when you turn it this way, you'll see the V right there. It's almost on the back of it. Okay, the single crochet is easy. Then I'm going to turn. Okay, now you don't want to go in here like that. That's not it. Turn it, and there's your V. You're going to go under your V. Okay, and you're going to do that all the way around. When I get to my stitch marker, I'm going to do 3 single crochets in the corner and put my stitch marker back into the middle crochet. So that'll be my new corner. Okay, and I will show you that when I get to the corner. So just keep going to the corner and I will meet you there. Okay, so I'm approaching my stitch marker that's in my corner, doing my single crochets all the way around. Here's another one, another stitch, and I'm going to take my stitch marker out and put 3 single crochets in that stitch. Remember, there's the V, looking for that on the back there. 1, 2, 3, and then I'll put my stitch marker back in to the center of those stitches right there and continue on. So that's what you're going to do until you get to the end of your 3rd side. You'll go across this side, you'll do your corner the exact same way, and then down the 3rd side, and I will meet you at the bottom. Okay, so now we've come to the end here of the last row, so I'm just going to put my last single crochets in. And where's that V? There it is. Sometimes it's hard to see. Okay, so now we can see the pattern is looking really nice, and we're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're back to the 2nd row of our 2-row repeat. And since this is an aligned cobblestone stitch, wherever I had a triple crochet in the previous row, where you see these, is where I'm going to have one again. Okay, so this is a single crochet, so I'm going to put a single crochet in there, and this, you can see here, is a triple crochet. You can also see on the other side that it pokes out. Okay, so I'm going to put my triple crochet here. Once I see where I am when I turn, then it's just a matter of alternating again. So now I'll do my single, my triple, another single. I'm just going to turn this over so I can show you what this is looking like. And you see that you have one right above the other for your texture. So you're just going to continue that way until you get to the corner, and I will meet you at the corner. Okay, so I'm coming to the corner. I just did a single crochet. Now I'll do my triple. And my single. And my triple in the first one here. Then I'm going to take off my stitch marker, and I'm going to do 3 stitches here, so it's going to be a single, a triple, a single, single, a triple, and a single. And I'm going to put my stitch marker back in to that triple, so single, triple, there's my triple. And then I'm going to continue around with my triple crochet in my next. Okay, so I'm coming to my corner, and I'm going to put, I just did a triple, so I'm going to put a single here. Now, if I were going in order, since I just did a single, this corner would be a triple, a single, a triple. But I like my corner to have the triple in the center, so I'm still going to do a single, then a triple, and then a single, And I'm going to put my stitch marker into the triple. There we go. And you'll see now I'm back on a triple, which is where I was before. The issue was that as we add in the corners, sometimes the number of stitches don't line up so that our corner would be our single, triple, single. So I just do it anyway, regardless of where I am, and then continue on. You just want to make sure when you're going down the sides that your triple will then be in line with your last triple. So there's my triple. Now I'll do a single just to show you that it's in line, and a triple. There you go. You see that those are in line. And I'll continue over to the next, over to the end of the third side. Okay, so I am at the end here of this row. I just did a single. I'll do my triple. And a single. And a triple. And then I'll chain one and turn. And we're back to row one of the 2 row repeats. So I'll be doing single crochets all the way around, 3 single crochets where I have my stitch marker, and continue all the way around. So I will do this 2 row repeat until, I'm figuring until I have 6 sets. So it'll be 12 total rows. And I think that's about the width that I want this piece to be. You can decide for yourself. Remember, make it your own. Okay, I hope you found that tutorial helpful. If you have any questions at all, put them in the comments below or send me an email to my email address at franniesquare@gmail.com. Also, if you're working on this Afghan with us, I'd love it if you'd send pictures for show and tell, where I can do a montage at the end just showing the progress of different people's Afghans. I think that will be a lot of fun. As always, thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate it. Remember to make it your own, and I'll see you soon.